Wait, what about weird? Well, hello, listeners. Have you ever had a burning question for an archaeologist that you have always wanted to ask? What about someone who has studied Eastern religions? Or perhaps you've had a question about cattle mutilations or UFO phenomena. Or maybe you're just really curious about cows, crop circles, I don't know, anything that has to do with farming and ranching. And maybe you want to ask a farmer and cattle rancher some questions. And perhaps you have a few questions for some people who specialize in telling ghost stories. If these sound like any questions that you may have, please send them to us because we are going to get down to the bottom of your questions and ask them on the podcast. We will explain to you a little bit later on exactly what we're doing here, but for now, just trust us and send us all of your questions to whataboutweirdpod@gmail.com. Thank you. Hi, I'm Echo.
And I'm Elena.
And this is What About Weird, a podcast dissecting all things weird, from cryptids and aliens to strange science and unhinged history.
In this episode, we have a tiny little guest on the mic who will be very grumpy.
You're gonna hear like grunts throughout the podcast. It's like, what is that? It's just my dog.
He's very tiny and small and wanted to be in my lap. And he's wiggling all about right now.
Oh my God. He's probably pissed off because I'm in a different room. He's probably like, wait, this was fine. This was fine when I knew where my mom was, but she left and now I'm having anxiety.
And I'm being held by a strange lady. So, how was your 4th of July? We're recording this the day after. This is going to come out, a lot later. But how was your... I know we spent the morning together, but what'd you do in the afternoon?
My neighbors fucking went off last night, dude. They must have gone over the border and got some not legal fireworks for North Carolina because
Roman
they had
candles.
The big fucking booms, the big ass ones. And I kid you not, they bought so many fireworks between the neighbors right next to us and the neighbors across the street. There was a fucking 5-hour long professional fucking level fireworks show in my neighborhood. It was insane.
Your poor dog freaking out about that, but that's
honestly
cool.
What's kind of, so I'm sad he's losing his hearing, but at the same time it's kind of great because usually he's really fucking freaked out by fireworks and thunderstorms and stuff, but now I think he can't hear them very well, so it's not a problem.
He's just like an old rock star. Well, that's nice. Yeah, no one really did any fireworks. I'm right by a lake and I heard them, but I couldn't really see them from where I was because there's too many trees. And
too many trees.
The one guy with all the guns was just shooting guns off all night. I didn't really do anything. I went out and I went to this place down the street from me that does events and stuff. And it's they've got restaurants and breweries. It's an old aluminum plant that got turned into a social area, and they were doing live music, and I hung out there for a little bit, but I'm I don't know what to do when I'm not with anybody. So, because my partner's out of town this weekend, I'm what do I do? I tried being social, didn't talk to anybody, went home and watched old movies. As one does.
That seems pretty on par.
Everything I'd want to do involves being outside, and I kind of don't feel like dying of heat stroke, despite everything that's life has been hitting me upside the head with the life stick lately, but despite that, I actually want to live.
Yeah, that's fair. Everyone stay out of the heat.
Yeah, be safe out there, y'all. What are we talking about today? How are we going to talk about someone who's very unsafe? Are we going to talk about very safe things? I'm trying to find a transition, and I'm very bad at it. I know what we're talking about, but would you say that he is a mega downer? I tried.
Today, I decided I wanted to do an Ancient Megafauna Part 2 episode. We did Part 1 very early on in the podcast, and so the audio for that one isn't that great because it was in that, like, little 3-episode, like, stint of episodes that we recorded in one day,
It was
where
that one. It was the Weird Laws, Megafauna,
yeah.
and
And
Human Lightning Rod.
yeah. So I'm gonna like kind of re-edit all of those episodes now that we have better editing software and I've gotten a little bit better at editing over the last year and a half that we've been doing the podcast. So if you are listening to this episode, when this comes out, I will have re-released Ancient Megafauna Part 1 the day before this episode so that you can go back and listen to that with a higher quality of audio. And I do recommend going back and listening to that episode because in that one, I explain the geologic timescale and then like really go into the definition of what megafauna is.
Also, I made the funniest Yo Mama joke ever, and that was the peak of my comedy, and I'm never going to be funnier than that. So listen to it just so you know that I can be funny.
I am not getting into all of that in Part 2. Like, I'm just going to be talking about the creatures themselves. I'm not going to get into the geologic timescale. I'm not going to get into the definitions. So if you need
the geologic timescale.
Yeah, and it is
time, just so I'm
helpful.
not lost.
And we will post the geologic timescale again on the social media, so that will be accessible for people. But if you want like a thorough, like kind of explanation of that stuff, definitely go back and listen to Part 1 if you haven't already.
Or don't. We can't tell you what to do.
Yeah, you don't have to. I'm just saying, if you want extra knowledge, I'm not repeating it in this episode because I've already said it before.
Fuck is that episode? There it is. Okay. I was trying to find it so I could have the... Oh, and guess what we didn't do?
We didn't post the geologic timescale?
Ooh. We posted... This was back in the early days before when we only posted one picture.
When we didn't post, very many photos.
We only posted the one picture of the giant sloth at the... Museum of Natural History.
Okay. Well, this time when we do the re-release and we do this Part 2, we will post a picture of the geologic timescale so that it's less confusing.
Is it in resources, possibly? I swear I posted it. Maybe I just posted it
to the story or something.
I might. Yeah, that's what I probably did and just didn't save it.
Because I know we did, but I don't think it. I guess it wasn't in the post.
Nope. Ugh. Yeah. No, it's. I did not post it. We will repost it. Please remind me.
Okay.
To repost it with both of those next time, because
womp
womp.
Oops. Well, you live and you learn, right?
I don't. I never learn anything.
Okay, so this first megafauna that we're going to talk about is called the Tarkabout. I got to start like trying to
me too much.
I'm have this really bad habit of reading the words that I have written down while saying other things, and it makes me fuck up my words because I'm looking at the word archaeotherum, and then I'm like trying to say a different sentence than what I'm reading.
See, that's my thing is I'm so bad at reading out loud. Like if you ever hear me read out loud, it's so bad. Like I was struggling so hard when we recorded the episode with Cryptid Cocktail because I'm having to read something that's really badly spelled. I'm like, I don't know how much stuff I'm mispronouncing or how much stuff they've miswrote or, I'm trying my best there. So that's why I'll make my notes and then read them and then summarize what I've read.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I know what I'm talking about, so I don't have to read stuff unless there's quotes. And that's why I stumble so hard through quotes. Don't ever ask me to read out loud. I'm going to fuck it up.
Okay, so the first megafauna I want to talk about is the Archaeotherium, which is also sometimes called the hell pig. They were members of the Artiodactyls. They were members of the Artiodactyls order, the same order that includes cattle, deer, and sheep. They lived among rhinos and early horses in what is now eastern Colorado, Wyoming, and South Dakota. A lot of those regions. These creatures, the hell pigs, lived about 23 to 37 million years ago.
Are you going to tell me why they're called hell pigs?
Yes, we'll get to that.
Sick.
So these creatures lived 23 to 37 million years ago during the Eocene and Oligocene epoch, which is during the Paleogene period, sometimes also known as the Tertiary period. An adult Archaeotherium could grow to be over 6 feet or 2 meters in length, with a skull that is over 3 feet or 1 meter long.
Wow.
Yeah. Large olfactory lobes are present in this mammal, which indicate that it has an incredible sense of smell. They had very long jaws and rounded molar-like teeth with tusk-like canines, which meant that it was most likely an omnivore. While it likely uses teeth to dig vegetation such as tubers out of the ground to eat, recent evidence suggests it may have also been a bone crusher. So bones belonging...
a very metal name. Hell pig and bone crusher, it just sounds like a lineup for a sick show.
Literally, like they're on tour together right now. So bones belonging to, and I'm gonna like mess up the names of everything in this because I legitimately like don't know how they're pronounced, but I'm trying my best, okay?
I won't know. And unless our listeners look into this, they won't know. So right now, you're the authority, and you can say it as badly as you want.
Amazing. I'll like purposely start mispronouncing everything. No, I am legitimately trying my best. So bones belonging to the Pobrotherium, which is an ancient type of camel. Pobrotherium. I hope that's how it's pronounced. I don't know.
How do you think its jerky tasted?
Probably like the camel jerky that we tried because it's an ancient type of camel.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
We'll rate, at the end of this, we'll rate the Megafauna based off of how we think their jerky would taste.
Well, I think the hell pig jerky would taste pretty good.
Yeah.
The bones belonging to the Pobrotherium, which is the ancient type of camel, were found in Wyoming with punctures that matched the premolars of the Archaeotherium. This new discovery that such a creature could crush the bones of its fellow megafauna is what gave rise to the nickname hell pig.
Just because it could crunch and munch other big-ass things.
Yeah, just because they showed that it could, like, crush bones with its teeth. Which is pretty impressive.
I don't blame them.
So, based on its size, the shape of the body, the teeth, and the diet, the hell pig, as the name suggests, is often compared to the modern pig. However, a 2009 study actually concluded that Entelodonts, which is the family that the Archaeotherium belongs to, are more closely related to whales and hippos.
That makes sense, though.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if we've learned anything about hippos, what is a hippo other than lake cow bacon? Just saying.
So whales are actually evolved from ancient artiodactyls, which strengthens proof of the relationship between the Archaeotherium and the whale.
Can we talk about the fact that whales have hips?
Yeah, whales are fucking wild, dude. I was going to do an episode on whale evolution.
Whales were like, I'm going to try going on land, and then like, fuck this shit, I'm going back in the water, and they still have hips. And it makes me uncomfy.
Where's that? Oh, yeah. So
whales?
basically, like the Archaeotherium aren't even a close cousin to today's pigs, even though they may look like it. Many fossils of the Archaeotherium that have been found exhibit injuries, which indicates that they may have been temperamental and prone to fighting, not unlike their relative, the hippo, which can be an extremely aggressive animal.
I wish we talked more about like hippo biology in the Hippo Bill episode because hippos are wild.
They're pretty fucking crazy.
They're freaky.
Yeah, and it's funny because like hippos are technically like a megafauna that exists today.
And so is your mama. Sorry, I had to bring that joke back.
So, and just like I did in the last episode, I kind of wanted to bring a variety of megafauna to this episode. So in the last one, I did the giant ground sloth. because I wanted like a ground-based one, and then I did the megalodon because I wanted to do a sea creature, and then I did the Haas eagle because I wanted to do one that flies. So I kind of tried to do the same thing here where I did a megafauna on land, and then now we're going to dive into the sea to explore a megafauna that was actually really recently discovered.
Quick question. Did we talk in the last episode about the fact that Sid the Sloth from Ice Age is technically a giant sloth, or is that something we discovered since we did that episode?
That's something we discovered since that episode. I was actually like doing some more investigation in it, and they did write his character to be a giant ground sloth, but he would have to be like way fucking bigger in relation to like the other animals in that movie.
But also making him smaller makes it easier to make him like a sympathetic, dorky character and have like a save the cat moment.
Yeah.
In the very beginning of the show, because like if he's about the size of like a mammoth, how are you going to be like, I'm going to like, it doesn't really work.
Like, I see why they had to do it, but he's legitimately like the size of a normal sloth. Not like a giant
He's
sloth.
the size of a person.
Is he?
Yeah.
Hold on. How tall is Sid the Sloth? He's 4 feet tall. That's small.
Okay. But there's one scene where he's like next, I guess all the people are small in that, because there's one scene where he's like next to a person or like near a person, and he's like the size of the person, and the way he's holding the baby is like comparatively it's the same size as a person.
I think it's the angles, because the people are still taller than him in those movies. So, and to be fair, he's still twice as large as a normal sloth would be. I was going to say
compared to a...
But he's a hell of a lot smaller than like an actual like giant ground sloth would be, unless he's a baby.
But they establish in later movies that he's not.
Yeah, right. Now, there are a lot of different species of giant ground sloth. So, like, legitimately, I bet there is a species out there that is the size of Sid the Sloth. It's just not the ones I was looking up when I did my last Ancient Megafauna episode.
Megafauna 3 is just all going to be about us investigating Sid the Sloth.
That, and I still need to do the woolly rhinos, because I'm pretty sure I promised you in the first episode that we were going to talk about woolly rhinos, and then I fucking forgot. So that's not in this episode. I know. I'm so sorry.
Are there woolly rhinos in Ice Age? Like the movies?
I thought there were. This is a lot of on my Googling. Are there woolly rhinos? The first one is, are there woolly rhinoceroses in North Carolina? No. Because they're
I've met some people that could classify as them.
Carl and Frank. You remember them? When he's eating the dandelion and those are supposed to be woolly rhinos. No,
Carl
they don't have any hair on them, so they definitely like mess that up. But maybe they are supposed to be woolly rhinos. They are at the spa a lot. The mud pits.
So,
oh, that's funny.
The next episode, we're doing a movie episode on Ice Age. We should do that, though. Like watch movies and do the science of them. Anyway, tell me about your aquatic megafauna. I've gotten us distracted enough.
Okay. I am looking it up, though, and there are like a bunch of different type of ground sloths that could be like 4 feet in length.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, they're not...
You heard it here first. Ice Age is a scientific movie. Get all of your facts from Ice Age.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's see. I'm trying to remember how big the giant ground sloths were that we talked about.
The picture I have, it's like...
Oh, they were fucking
on
huge.
A pine tree.
They were like 20 feet tall. So he definitely wasn't a megatherium. But he could have been one of the other types of giant ground sloth, because there were like a whole bunch of different types of giant ground sloth.
Enough distractions. Okay. Water.
Now that we talked about Ice Age for 30 minutes, let's explore this sea megafauna that was recently discovered. So when sailors told tales of the kraken, this definitely has to be the beast they were talking about.
I sent this to you. Yeah.
So in April of 2026, scientists published their findings regarding an extremely well-preserved fossil of the largest octopus to ever swim the waters.
Everyone around me is sick of me talking about this since I found out about it.
I know, it's so cool. During the late Cretaceous period, over 80 million years ago, that's supposed to be 80 million years ago, but I just put 8 dash.
Over 8? I mean, over 8 million years ago is still accurate.
It is, but
over 8 years ago would still be accurate.
Over 80 million years ago, and this one's a hard one to say. I don't know who named this shit, but it's difficult. I'm going to try my best. Nanaimoteuthis? No one knows. No one knows except for the scientists, okay?
And even them, it's questionable. Don't ask the science whether it's data or data.
Nanaimoteuthis hagardi ruled the seas and would have been one of the top predators in the ocean. This octopus is estimated to measure anywhere from 7 meters in length, which is about 23 feet, up to 19 meters in length, which is 62 feet. This means it's likely much larger than the giant squid when it which comes in around 10 meters in length.
Just for reference, because sometimes it's hard to, in your brain, like, how big is 19 meters? Like, what would that be? Like,
something that is 62 feet. What is 62
how many football fields
long?
Is that? I don't know how big that gives me a small house. A house? What is?
Okay, a standard bowling lane is about 60 feet. So it's about 2 feet longer than a standard bowling lane.
Okay. Everything else you have to compare to bowling lanes from now on.
That's a big-ass fucking octopus. I'm just saying. That's fucking huge,
I was like trying to think of stuff, and I'm like, because that's the problem, is unless you give me something, I'm like, yes, that is a big number. That is a big creature. But I'm like, how big is 62 feet? Is that like we've been over this. We see some dumb stuff for smart people. And I'm like, how big is 62 feet? I'm like, is that the size of a truck or the size of a house?
Well, it's hard to kind of visualize it without references.
See, that's the thing. It's like you need the visualizations. And that's why I do think that Americans will use everything but the metric system memes are funny. But it does give you a good reference, except for a large boulder the size of a small boulder.
It's about the length of a fully grown adult sperm whale. And those are fucking huge, so.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see. So the jaws of the fossil that they found showed extensive wear, meaning the octopus used its wide maw to crush hard skeletons. So this is also another bone crusher.
Crushers.
I know, right? There's also asymmetric wear to the fossil, which indicates lateralized behavior, and this is a trait that comes with advanced intelligence. An octopus is typically an opportunistic predator, and with the size of this one, it could have taken on many of the much larger species in the ocean. It was also likely not often predated upon due to its size. It would have had only a handful of predators in the ocean because the predator would have had to have been very large as well. Fossilized stomach contents have shown that mosasaurs and other marine reptiles would eat cephalopods, but scientists don't know whether or not the hagardi was part of this diet.
It's really what's cool about, I don't remember if it was this or a different similar giant cephalopod, that they had been finding like bone stacks of ancient megafauna in the water, and they're like, why are there, it's not just everything's dying in this one spot. And then they realized that modern octopi will stack bones and stuff and like use them as like decoration.
Yeah,
basically.
Which is
and then they're
crazy.
Like, wait, this thing's like decorating its house with dino bones. This is cool as shit.
I love, okay, and I know that technically I think the plural is octopuses. I'm going to say octopi because that's fucking weird. I don't like it.
I heard someone trying to argue with me that it was octopody.
No, definitely not that one. That's the least good one. That one's going to get a negative score from me.
This is a mongooses situation.
Literally, because isn't it mongooses?
It's mongooses, but like
we're gonna say mongoose.
So it's when I did the Jeff episode, it was like linguistically the proper term is mongooses, but colloquially it's mongoose, and a lot of people will accept mongoose over mongooses, even though if you want to get technical about it, mongooses is the correct use.
And I'm pretty sure it's the same with like octopuses and octopi, because like while it's more correct to say octopuses, I think most people still say octopi.
But there's also like fish versus fishes. Like there's that thing of like fish is a collection of the same, like if you have a bunch of bass, that's fish.
Yeah.
If you have like a bunch of bass and some trout and some bluegills, that's fishes.
I've never heard the plural as fishes.
It's how I had always understood it was fish is if it's one type, fishes is if it's like a bunch of different species.
But then when you're telling somebody there's like plenty of fish in the sea, you're not saying there's plenty of fishes in the sea. You're saying there's plenty of fish in the sea.
I think this is also a mongoose situation. If you majored in English, please reach out to us and tell us, how stupid are we when it comes to this? How as a people?
Oh, yeah. The plural form fishes is acceptable when specifically referring to multiple distinct species or types of fish, rather than just a large group. But fish is the standard plural for any quantity. So, like, you can use fishes when you're referring to multiple species, but, like, if you just use fish, I think that's technically
so
correct every time.
Fish is always right. Fishes is right in some situations.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so. That is like literally from a language tool website. But so who knows? But
why can I not say that word? Encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia?
Yes, Britannica.
Encyclopedia.
Yeah, I don't know why that was giving me so much trouble.
It's okay. It's a big word. Okay. Where am I at?
Bone crushing, eating underwater reptiles.
Yes, okay. If the Hagarty was predated upon by these larger predators, it was certainly also large enough and fierce enough to put up a fight. Paired with its intelligence, predators probably had a really difficult time. So as of now, the Hagarty disappears from the fossil record about 72 million years ago, but it is not known why. Scientists are still trying to track down more complete fossils of this great creature to answer more questions and get an idea of why they may have gone extinct. Dude, he's very so loud.
He's straight up just sitting here, just grumping it up.
Oh, and earlier, I don't know if this is going to come through on the audio, but there's a fucking bird that is going the fuck off that I could hear on like your end like a couple minutes ago. So if that makes it into the podcast, I'm so sorry. I have a lot of fucking birds at my house.
It's weird that they never come through on our thing. Like not even the peacock comes through on when I'm recording at my place.
I am not sure. They are like right outside that fucking door though. Hopefully it'll get rid of them in the background, and if it doesn't, enjoy the bird noises.
Yeah, it's ambient. Ambiance? Ambiance. It's setting.
I'm pretty sure ambiance is correct though. Okay, so the last ancient megafauna is even more ancient than the rest. It came millions of years
than yo mama. Sorry, I see the opportunity. I have to take it.
Oh my god, okay. It came millions of years before the age of dinosaurs and was a predator of the skies before birds and bats had even evolved. Nearly 300 million years ago, during the Permian period,
everything had a perm?
Maybe.
I like to imagine my dinosaurs not with scales or feathers, but with luscious 80s perms.
So this was called the Meganisoptera, which is a order of... It's the Meganisoptera order. Let me just start the sentence over again. Nearly 300 million years ago, during the Permian period, the Meganisoptera order existed. I'm going to get the word right because I have to say it so many times, which is an extinct order of griffin fly and looks similar to a dragonfly. One species of the Meganisoptera called the Meganeuropsis permiana existed in the Permian period, which was approximately 290 million years ago. Harvard fossil curator Frank Carpenter described in 1939 a 28-inch or 71 centimeter long wingspan and a body length of 17 inches, which is 43 centimeters, based on a single incomplete wing fossil found in Elmo, Kansas.
Elmo, Kansas is a great name. Is that where
right?
Muppet Street or the Sesame Street is located?
Probably.
Muppet Street.
Muppet Street. Wrong one.
Same universe. How many bowling alley lanes is this big?
Well, it's 28 inches, so that's just a little over 2 feet, but it's a dragonfly. That's fucking huge for an arthropod.
Yeah, that's like bigger than your dog.
It literally is.
Him up.
Yeah. So that's pretty fucking huge. That's the wingspan of it is 28 inches, so a little over 2 feet in length, and then the body length is 17 inches, so about like a foot and a half.
I'm just giggling because your dog just like hacked into my elbow. I don't know if you could hear that. He's like all cozy. He's so nice and cozy. He finally stopped being grumpy, and then he just wakes up and goes,
He does that all the time.
Unrelated to that, speaking of like mega invertebrates, have you ever, I don't know if you have any plans to talk about this in the future, but the giant earthworms?
Oh, yeah.
Those things are whack. They're crazy.
You know what? I'll start a list for like what I should do in the next Megafauna episode right now. And so it's going to be woolly rhinos, giant worms.
What was the other thing?
And then if
there's one more
talking about Ice Age. Sid the Sloth. We're not, I think we did that enough in this episode though. I think we're good.
Never enough.
But if you think of another like megafauna, or if somebody listening thinks of another megafauna that they really want to, I don't know, me to do research on and talk about, then shoot us an email at whataboutweirdpod@gmail.com.
We should also do a modern megafauna episode.
Oh, I could. Yeah, that would
Talk
probably be good. Modern megafauna
and ostriches and stuff.
That would be fun.
Anyway, will the episode come out? The government projects be out by the time we release this?
Yes.
How much faster do you think they'd have the insecticopter if this thing was still around?
Oh my God, so much faster, because like they would have been able to build it like 2 feet fucking wide and a foot and a half long. Like they would have been fine.
But do you think they could have made it look as realistic because it's bigger and you could look like at it? You know?
Probably not. Probably not.
Because if it's little and you mess up some little details and it's like, that's not a dragonfly, you're not going to notice it as much if it's zipping around real fast and it's small.
I don't know. I think just the detail alone that they'd have to kind of get to make it look real if it was that much bigger, I think that probably would have cost them just as much time.
Yeah.
As it would to like figure out how to make one so
they
tiny.
They could have put cameras on them then in the 70s. Cameras and like little weapons.
I'm glad these things don't exist anymore though. Like I couldn't imagine, like technically they're not dragonflies because dragonflies like hadn't evolved at this point. They're griffin flies, but like they're basically. So a griffin fly just was the precursor to a dragonfly. Like dragonflies didn't exist because they weren't evolved yet.
But like, what is the evolutionary difference between griffin flies and dragonflies? Because I know like, and I know visually like what's the difference between a dragonfly and a damselfly. But like, so what makes it more distinct? Is it just more like the size thing?
The veins in the wings are slightly different. The appendages and the ends of the abdomens are slightly different.
Okay, I just looked at pictures of it because I was curious. First off, if you just look up griffin fly, you just get a bunch of AI images of griffins flying.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is like, do you know what a mosquito hawk is?
Yes.
It kind of looks like a cross between a dragonfly and a mosquito hawk.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. And they had like longer antenna. I think their eyes were connected differently. Their like head shape ratio was different. So there's a lot of differences, but essentially like griffin flies were like came before dragonflies evolved. So they're like closely related, but like these are like the precursors for what, dragonflies are today.
I'm going down a visual rabbit hole. Oh, there's an eastern Dobson fly of like how griffin flies have split off into things like eastern Dobson flies and mosquito hawks and like lantern flies and all that stuff. It's just
Yeah.
visually looking at it and seeing how people are comparing things. And this is just on Google Images.
Well,
Um,
and everything did legitimately come from like, and I'll talk about this later. Actually, let's save the rest of this conversation for later because I'm going to get to this a little bit later and why so many different species come from one specific species. So the next year, so they kind of first started describing these in 1939, and that's when they found that one in Elmo, Kansas. Well, the next year in 1940, there was another species discovered called the Meganeuropsis americana in Oklahoma, where they found an 11-inch forewing fragment, and after reconstructing the wing, determined the wingspan to be 27 inches, which is 69 centimeters.
nice.
The wing fossil sits in the Museum of Comparative Zoology at Harvard University. The Meganeura is also an extinct genus within the order of the Meganisoptera. So the first ones we were talking about is the Meganeuropsis. This is now the Meganeura, which is also under the Meganisoptera order, but is like a different genus.
Okay. Gotcha.
So these date back 300 million years ago. So they're a little bit older by like around 10 million years. And they date back to the late Carboniferous period.
That sounds like a great type of pasta, I will say.
No, it sounds like carbonara. So fossils of the Meganeura were first discovered in France in 1880. Although many fossils have been found, they're often poorly preserved. However, from the evidence we have and our ability to reconstruct, a single wing of Meganeura could reach up to 13 inches, which is 32 centimeters in size, with a total wingspan of up to 2.46 feet, which is about 0.75 meters. And it may just have been the biggest insect to ever live. The Meganeura had very large compound eyes, which are the same eyes on arthropods and many insect species that are made up of thousands of photoreceptors, meaning that they likely had extremely good eyesight. There are a few theories on how the Meganeura got so big. So during the Carboniferous period, there was a massive rise in global oxygen levels. In a species such as this one, oxygen is diffused through the insect's body via a tracheal breathing system. So oxygen levels may put a limit on size. But if oxygen levels are higher and air is more dense, just like in this period of time, the insects may have been able to reach really, really great sizes. It is also thought that the Meganeura were able to get so big because they were the main predators in the airspace. Since there was a lack of vertebrate predators in the air at the time, the Meganeura were free to snatch up all of the other insects that they wanted to consume. And while these massive arthropods existed for a very long time, they died out sometime around the late Permian and early Triassic period, likely during the Permian-Triassic extinction event, also known as the Great Dying, which is the Earth's most severe known extinction event, which resulted in the extinction of nearly all life on Earth. 9 in 10 marine species became extinct. 7 in 10 land animals became extinct. This event affected plants, insects, vertebrates, reptiles, marine life, and even microbes. Scientists have many theories as to why this great extinction event happened, but it may have been the combination of a variety of truly awful factors. The extinction didn't happen overnight. It actually occurred slowly over millions of years as 1.5 million cubic kilometers of lava flowed from a fissure in the crust of the Earth in what is now known as Siberia. For reference, when Mount St. Helens exploded in 1980, that was 1 cubic kilometer of lava. And this is 1.5 million cubic kilometers. And, like, we all know how, like, devastating Mount St. Helens was, and that was only 1 cubic kilometer of lava.
I want to do an episode on Mount St. Helens and the conspiracies around it.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I used to be obsessed with the Mount St. Helens explosion when I first found out about it in, like, 7th grade. For some reason, I was just like, yes.
And it's just crazy that, like, how much devastation that was. And it was 1 cubic kilometer, and this is 1.5 million. Big fucking difference there. And this is, like, the biggest extinction event that we know of in Earth's history. I think that's why so many of these different species evolve from just, like, one creature. Because, like, when you think of, like, 9 and 10 marine species became extinct, 7 and 10 land animals became extinct, and it's affecting, like, literally all life on Earth, including microbes. Like, that's not a lot left.
Yeah, and also, you know, everything has a compounding effect of, like, well, you get rid of the microbes, you get rid of the things that munch on the microbes, you get rid of the things, you know, that munch on the things that munch on the microbes, and so on and so forth. And, like, yeah, bigger things can die, but it could also, you know, little things die, and that'll affect things that wouldn't have otherwise died. Like, survived the initial extinction event, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And so what's, like, interesting about this, so it's a megafauna that existed before the dinosaurs existed. And then this great die-off happened. And then we had the dinosaurs. And then we go to talking about, like, because this is the most ancient megafauna that I've talked about. Most of the other megafauna that I've been talking about happened after the dinosaurs. So we went through this great dying, and then the dinosaurs happened, and then we went through another major extinction event, and then we had most of the other megafauna that I'm talking about, and then there was, like, another basically extinction event because of, you know, global temperature changes, and then we're kind of in, like, what is considered the modern era today. So there's a lot of extinction happening in between, like, because, like,
and we're currently in what you could argue is an extinction event because people.
And that's why, and I'll talk about it a little bit more in a second, why it's like, well, extinctions don't just happen overnight. It's like so many different factors. So, like, it wasn't just this lava flowing from the fissure in the crust of the Earth that really did it. So this massive explosion would have led to much of the land being scorched and consumed, but it also would have released sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, resulting in an oxygen-starved environment, acidic oceans, elevated global temperatures. And of course, like we were discussing earlier, how that high oxygen level is a large reason why these arthropods were able to get so big in the first place. And during this time, the plate tectonics were also shifting and pushing the continents together, which would form the supercontinent of Pangaea. So this is before even Pangaea, these things existed. And there was also the super ocean Panthalassa. So during this shift, weather patterns would have changed, currents in the ocean would have shifted, and sea levels would have dropped. And about 250 million years ago, there is also evidence that a Mount Everest-sized rock may have collided with our planet. So there are some other theorized factors that led to this extinction event, but those are the main ones. And all of this was occurring over, like, millions of years.
What if this is all just a lie told to us by big science on why we don't have cool-ass animals, and history is all just fake, and so is the fossil record?
Don't even joke about that, because one time my grandpa was at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, and they had a dinosaur exhibit, and this lady was walking around like a class of kids. There's, like, this area where you can see them, like, kind of cleaning up the fossils and stuff. And she was all, look, kids, this is where they make the fossils to put in the ground.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so like kids are literally out there being taught this, which is fucking insane.
I'm joking about that because I've met people like that. There was also a science teacher, or so I've heard, at my old school that didn't believe that the moon was real. So, not that the moon landing was fake. She was just like, the moon isn't real.
The moon doesn't exist.
But I've met people that are like, fossils aren't real, dinosaurs aren't real. They're all just like, have you ever noticed how dinosaur bones are very similar to like big animals that we have now? It's just the same bones. And also, why is it never real bones that are on display? It's like, because they're fragile and they need to study them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like they don't want people to fuck them up. Too, bones are bones. Everything, like, our bones look the same as fucking other animals' bones, and nobody's questioning that. Like, what the fuck are you even talking about?
Yeah. Arguably, that's more of a, like, it's more of an argument for evolution. But I don't know, if you're bound and determined to be like, this is the correct answer and you're wrong, like, if you tell someone, well, you know, we have a similar spine structure, like we have similar spine and rib cage structure and all but that bone structure to like dogs, you know, obviously it's a sign we all evolved from similar things. Our anatomy is very similar to those of like primates. You know, if you're trying to make those valid arguments, someone who's determined on being like evolution isn't real is like, well, obviously it's just the template that God used when he created everything.
And so when people have like this like crazy theories about the dinosaur bones, they like make them and put them in the ground, or the moon landing was faked. This is probably not a great way to combat that, but also like explaining actual fucking science and facts also doesn't combat it. So what I like to do is like kind of freak people out and like, yeah, and like double down. So people will be like, the moon landing doesn't exist. I'm like, well, actually the moon is fucking fake. Like that science teacher that you had. And you just like go one step farther, and then maybe they start to like, listen, maybe they'll think it's fucking true and they like go deeper into the conspiracy, and maybe they're like, wow, this person is fucking crazy, and they'll start like double thinking about like, do I sound fucking crazy? But either way, you're not going to change their mind anyway, because like crazy people are going to think what the fuck they're going to think. So I'm like sick of fucking explaining science to people that just don't get it.
Me too. That's why I was very in support of like not making fun of people for when like people were getting the COVID vaccine. Like if you put half a potato on it, it sucks out all the toxins and you only get the good stuff, or you get the vaccine and it sucks all the vaccine out. So you're not going to be vaccinated, but you have the card that says you are. It's like, that's not how that works, but nobody tell them because they're getting vaccinated.
Yes, literally. Whatever's going to get them to like fucking get this vaccine. Like, I don't even care.
Yeah.
If I need to tell somebody they need to go buy some fucking like magic healing crystals to use on themselves when like after they go to the fucking doctor, if that makes them go to the fucking doctor, then like I'm pro that.
Yeah. We need to start doing that as a society. It's like, oh, you don't want to get vaccinated because it's against your religious beliefs or what, like, don't get vaccinated if you can't get vaccinated, like medically you can't, or you have like a adverse reaction to it. But we just need to start convincing people that like you need healing crystals that'll get rid of all the, like, it'll neutralize the vaccine so that people still get vaccinated, and we'll just sell it as like, well, now you have the paperwork saying that you have it and you can travel to countries that you need vaccines for, or you can send your kids to school without it being an issue, you know?
But like, don't worry, because the healing crystal totally pulled all that toxic shit out. Don't worry about it.
And if you just want to be extra safe, like, hop on one foot and spin in circles while chanting a mantra. Like, there you go. But they're vaccinated now.
People are fucking crazy, man.
If you can get your vaccines, do it.
Yeah, please. Because there are some people that can't, and it really sucks when, like, some people are unwilling to go get their fucking vaccines. Like, and then people that legitimately can't get them because they're immunocompromised get sick because other people fucking suck.
Yeah. Anyways.
I love how we were discussing Megafauna. It turned into go get your vaccines. I swear to God, the last 2 episodes have, like, turned out like that. Or, like... At some point, there's another episode where we said, go get your vaccines, and then we're saying it again in this one.
Yeah. I think we recorded an episode that is going to come out after this, where we started talking about a cryptid and ended talking about barbecue.
Oh, yeah. No, that'll come out before this.
Yeah. Okay. But we started talking about cryptids, and then we were like, but food. But anyway,
and that those are all of the megafauna that I had planned to talk about today, but I thought it was really interesting to kind of end on like the one that like came before anything else, just because that's so interesting. And also I kind of like thinking about griffin flies / like dragonflies that are over 2 feet in length.
That is crazy.
That's fucking huge, dude.
I've been burped at again.
He just like makes fucking noises, dude. Like
I love him. He's so old and grumpy and scrunkly.
I think he has like so many digestive issues,
just like other old men.
Yeah, I'm like, this is why he's on prescription food. Trust me, it's like so much worse when he's not on that.
Was he not on prescription food when he threw up in your hand?
Well, no, he was on prescription food, but we hadn't quite figured out that he needs prescription food plus another like probiotic and dietary supplement.
Okay.
It's been like we've been like reworking his diet at his vet for like the last 2 fucking years to kind of get him to like a normal level where he's not like, I don't know, having like gastric distress so often.
He didn't actually have gastric distress, and he was just out partying while you were at work.
That is some stupid shit he would do.
Respectfully, your dog seems like the kind that would do cocaine.
And he would. He gets fucked. And I bet that is what he does. Because I get home and he acts like a fucking crackhead, dude. He acts so fucking crazy. I'll get home and he'll like scream at me for like 10 minutes. He'll be like barking like rah, 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 and like following me around.
Than a pug.
That's true. But he'll nonstop fucking bark at me for like 10 minutes, and he'll start like fucking jumping around, and I'll like get like the zoomy super bad and like run up and down the hallway, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna be 16 in October. You can't do this shit. I need you to chill the fuck out. Go lay down and take a fucking nap.
like a regular old man.
Yes. Oh my God. Like that is. Hold on. How fucking old is 16 for a dog in like human years?
I don't know if this is right, but aren't dog years like 7? Isn't it like 7 or something?
Yeah, but it's more of like a curved graph instead of like a straight line like that. Okay, so for small breeds, it says a 16-year-old dog is roughly like anywhere from like 80 to 85 years old in human years.
My goodness.
Yeah, so he's fucking old. He should not be running around all crazy like that.
Okay, in all fairness, though, my grandfather is like 85 and is in better shape than I am. I'm pretty sure he's going to outlive me unless he like blows himself up with a stick of dynamite accidentally, which isn't out of the realm of possibilities.
Are Dreyfus and your grandpa one and the same?
Honestly, I think Dreyfus has him beat on number of teeth and hearing, but they look very similar.
Okay, Dreyfus has 4 teeth left.
I don't remember how many my grandfather has. I think he has like, I think my grandfather has him beat. He has like 6.
Okay. I mean, that's still pretty even, and I bet the hearing is pretty similar too, because you have to. I don't know if it's selective hearing, which I'm sure some of it is, because like my dog's kind of a dick. Like he will ignore you on purpose.
He's old enough that he has earned the right to ignore you on purpose.
He gets away with a lot.
One of my dogs is only 3, and he ignores me on purpose all the time. He's not young enough to. Maybe he's the right age. If he gets a little older,
he has good fucking hearing too, because he's a beagle. He has fantastic hearing. He just doesn't give 2 shits.
Big ears does not mean big listen.
No, not at all. Because he will straight up like, you can tell he hears you by like his body language. But then he will like actively ignore you, and I think it's so funny.
My dog is also a crackhead. I think I wouldn't be surprised if my dog is on meth.
Yeah, I feel like
he freaks out. He zooms around. He doesn't have front teeth, and he just eats dirt. I caught him trying to eat a rock once.
Oh, yeah. He loves eating fucking dirt and rocks and like tree roots. Like, it's so funny to me when he's like fucking trying to gnaw on tree roots. And I'm like, dude, that's not a snack. That's not a snack. What are you doing?
I love the way he'll just like eat dirt and rocks and then just scream into a hole he dug and look at me. And I'm like, okay, good for you, dude.
It's like not even drugs. It's like your dog like has like schizophrenia or something, like untreated schizophrenia.
I mean,
sometimes he
he's
acts like
still
it.
more sane than some of my family members.
Oh, that's so true. I mean,
none of my family listens to this podcast, so I'm fine saying that.
I just like honestly like I feel like even though our dogs are fucking crazy, they're definitely more sane than like at least 50% of people, because I've talked to a lot of people and they make no sense.
Listen, I've met some motherfuckers that look like they would be eating dirt.
I think I've seen someone who's eaten dirt before.
I mean, I've seen children eat dirt.
I've seen grown adults fucking eat dirt before.
Yeah. If it don't come off on your pants, it won't come off on your sandwich.
Like the amount of times, so I listen to like this advice giving podcast, and the amount of times people write in and they're like, can I eat grass? No, no, you cannot.
Well, should you and can you are two different questions.
I guess that's true.
And what was it that is that a Terry Pratchett quote, or I don't remember if it was Terry Pratchett or Tolkien that once said all mushrooms are edible, but some only once.
Yeah. Oh God, people are so funny.
Anyway. So, do you have anything else, or have we just chit-chatted about our dogs and Sid the Sloth and a lot of other shit?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, literally half of this episode is just fucking bullshitting around.
Listen, that's just life lately. It's just, life has been hitting me upside the head with the life stick, and I just need to bullshit around sometimes.
Here's the thing. We've never been good at sticking to what's on the screen. Like,
no,
90% of our episodes are complete fucking BS. No, and we have been, because we always plan for episodes to be like 40 to 45 minutes long. They've been like an hour every fucking time that we've done an episode.
Should I do the outro, speaking of ending things?
Yes.
Thank you for listening. If you liked it, please rate the podcast and share it with the weird people.
Sorry.
You're like, sorry, I got possessed by the spirit of your dog and burped. Let me start that
You
over
always
again.
do it in the middle of sentences, dude.
Listen,
So funny.
I don't control this. Let me start that over again. Thank you for listening. If you liked it, please rate the podcast and share it with the weird people in your life. Follow us on Instagram at whataboutweird.pod, where we often share pictures related to the episodes. We're also on Blue Sky as What About Weird Pod. If you have any topic suggestions or personal weird stories, please DM us or email us at whataboutweirdpod@gmail.com. And always remember
to ask about the weird.
Bye
for now.